right, we're back. We just kind of talked about making a small map for people to use. This is just a small, very basic map with some difficult terrain, with some terrain effects. We also looked over some other maps that are a bit bigger that you can use to either fight people and go from there and use cover. And it's very simple. If a player's behind this, they want to, as a DM, you can always be like, yeah, that's you're behind a trunk. So if you go prone, no one can see you, right? And if you're just standing halfway, half your body is covered. So you have that kind of terrain, and you can fire away at these guys, and these guys can fire away at you, and so on and so forth. These are pretty cool maps. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna keep them, but they're pretty cool. But I'm just gonna put them to the side for now. We're just gonna, if you ever feel like you don't want to use them for now, we can just use, test map snow combat 1. We can just name them whatever we'd like. We can push them away, archive page, and we can just do all the same. Let's do this one. That's that map. That map's gone. That's the auction. We can always put this aside. What is this? This is a small. Ooh, whatever. That thing's gone. All right. So let us make another map, and we can go from there, and we can try to see how we can improve it or how we can change it up, and we can just go from there. Now, usually when it comes to making maps, you do want to have some sort of an idea of like, usually players will, usually DMs will kind of, they have an idea of what the combat will be. If we look at Descent into Avernus, the first place you really go into is a tavern where you pretty much have to fight. You don't have to fight, but the first potential combat scenario is that there is a two floored tavern. I think it's called the Elf Song Tavern. I could be wrong, but I have the book next to me. I'm just gonna pull it out. Phrasing. Here, as I flip through the book. The map itself is pretty well laid out. Modules do a damn good job. Obviously, if you're using a module online on Roll20, I think they give it to you guys. There really isn't too much of an issue. But hey, who knows? Yeah. So it's literally an entrance, reception desk, E6, E5, E4. These are all the different setups. But it's a 2-tower place, 2-floor thing, and it's not that hard. All right. So either you can put your own kind of flavor to it, own twist, or you can just use the Roll20 thing. But let's say you don't. Maybe you have the hard cover like I do, right? I don't own the online version of it on Roll20, so it's kind of an issue for me. So I would have to make the maps myself if I were to run this campaign setting, which I have. But we'll just make a tavern map for now. A lot of DMs, either ways, you will have to make a tavern map to pretty much, eventually, if not immediately. Most tavern maps are pretty damn easy. All you have to do is find wooden floors, place it on the map zone, and just adding tables. Add like maids or butlers or bartenders or hostesses and so on and so forth. Maybe you want to make it a little bit rugged, but that's fine. As long as we can make the base tavern, we can pretty much copy the assets, take it over, and make it into either a finer establishment or a more kind of less decent one. We can make it a real brothel if we wanted to, or we can change it up into a gambling house. But it's very, very easy to just go from whatever we need. So all you gotta do is grab wood. And we can just use any type of wood, but we want to make sure that we do have some sort of wants or needs. Now, not to say that these colors or these kind of wooden panels are what I want. We want to make sure that there is some degree of... Why is there a tree there? Oh, you know what? Let's make a tree of this, actually. All right, let's push this back there. let's increase this by 1 size. So there's a little bit of thing. We can decrease the size of this, and we can make this kind of like the tree sap inn, right? The tree sap inn, and that's the name of this current map. So we'll just go with there. The tree sap inn. Cool. Now we'll put that there. We're gonna add some dirt underneath the tree, and we're gonna add now this is like really dirt, like this is straight dirt, but it's okay. We're just gonna add some covers to it to make it look a little bit nicer and make it look better, pretty much. When we do that, it's very simple. We can just start adding these things, and these things are nice, these like tokens, but you can pretty much do whatever you like. But I'm just using the things I can. Bang bang, boom. And remember, the tree is always going to be above, so we don't really care too much about what's happening over here at all currently. Just want to make sure everything is done. Boom. All right, cool. Now that we're gonna move the tree upwards, trees down. We want to add some of this kind of dirt behind it, so almost like the people who have been adding fresh dirt to this place, it has almost kind of either something has sprinkled it up, or the guy who was trying to do it in the morning didn't do a very good job of it. And the tree itself is good. We can then add some grass, just a little bit, nothing too much. We want to make sure it's kind of living, but not at all, to some degree. No, we don't. That's too much. We just want pieces, really. We can shrink this. This is doable. Just make into a drawing. Increase it. Kind of just push it around here. And again, we want to make sure the tree is on top. So all of this is going to go there. And it kind of looks decent. And again, we're just making this as much as we can. And we don't want to put too much depth into this because, again, we're trying to make a tavern. So we can put some tree, we can put some wood, and we can keep on going forward. And maybe, hey, this is very much a elven tavern. And obviously not elf song tavern, but this is very much an elven tavern. And the way how we kind of address that is we have maybe the receptionist table behind the tree or like around the tree. So almost the first thing you see when you go to get your rooms is the tree itself. Maybe there's some magical things going on there. So we're going to find some wood. Hopefully. We get some good, decent area. We can also get like these kind of grates that allow us to put around this area. And again, this is a bit different because we want to put the grates at the back. So we want to actually put the tree above, and then once that's done, we then want to come back and yeah. So there's almost a little bit of coverage, but at the same time, it's not. And then we want to start to okay. But then we want to lower it down. We can put this down. Nice little kind of yellow coloring, so there is almost this understanding that whoever's working here or this area is a bit more important or deserves a little bit of kind of respect. And I could simply just copy paste and go from there, but I'd rather not do that currently. And we just want to keep going back and forth. Bam, 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 bam. Cool. All right, cool. We have this. It's good to go. If we wanted to even, we could also put these in the back. Because sometimes, if you see this one here, you'll... okay, never mind. It's good. We can then start adding smaller cubes. It's too much. Do this. And then we can shrink it a little bit. And we can think about if we want this to be more or less a kind of like the front table, the front desk. But we'll see. All right. Tables are cool, but we're just trying to look for areas where we can not make it look like a undead necromancer's area. We want to make sure it's kind of cool looking. And again, we got some elvish kind of a tree here, so it looks like there's some natural things built in here. So we want to add things that are more or less comfort. What's the word I'm looking for here? Sheesh. We want to add things that will almost... I can't think of the word. It just keeps losing my fucking mind. That mesh wells with this area. We don't want to put things that are too metallic. Obviously, we might have to add a brewery or some sort of tavern, instruments, be it a brewer's set, or whatever the case is, like one of these. But for now, we can just leave it as is. A carpet, pretty easy, not too difficult. Table. This looks a bit kind of cheap, but for the time being, I think that's okay. We'll change it up, and we'll actually make it look a little bit better by going back and kind of just adding things on top of that. And if you really kind of look at the corner, you're like, I don't like this type of corner stuff. Well, guess what? We can always move this so it looks a little bit more kind of built upon it, and change this up, make this a bit tighter. There we go. Now we have like a little bit of a map here. We can find some cupboards or some tables, some additional tables. So let's find a desk, actually. That makes more sense. And obviously when we are looking through this stuff, it's gonna be, we might find things that we don't actually want, or it's from a different game. And let's shrink this down, again, these are way too fucking big. Shrink this down, as much as we can. Change this up. And really, what we're trying to go for is almost the same measurements. So it's kind of like that. Looks a bit too cramped. We'll just use this. So we have a front desk for people to come to, ask what's up, get a room if they wanted to. We can start putting our characters, but obviously we need to fill the tavern with things. Make sure everything else is nice and cool, good, nice looking. These things over here, we can say they're very much tables, or they kind of back the back of the receptionist desk, or we can start to add more things to it. We can add more additional desks. We can start to add, maybe there's a bartender here, and it's kind of like a circular area where it's more like an island, where people are coming to ask for keys, ask for drinks, ask for other things, and we can kind of separate it as that. This thing looks short, big. Phrasing. This thing looks like what we need. Make it a little bit bigger, smaller, however you'd like. Make it fit to your design. And after that, we can then go, well, this thing looks kind of cool. Maybe this thing has some into it, so we can put these kind of red crystals here to kind of be like, hey, this is where you come and kind of ask people, this is the positions you want. Not positions, sorry, what the hell am I talking about? These are kind of the place where you have to stop and wait and kind of be like, hey, can I order something? And now that we've added this, I'm kind of not loathing, but definitely I want to change up the area now. I don't want this to be the same, so I'm just gonna change it up a little bit. So not really a table, but now it's starting to become a border. So the cabinets are being rechanged. And if you'd like, you can play them off as just a large amount of like cupboards. And this is very simply one of the other, like, hey, these are where the bottles are, and you can put tankards or barrels on them and go from there. And we can just make this a nice little place. And anyways, a lot of these type of inns or taverns you make, you can just simply change them. The very easy way you can do that is actually a lot of the times it's a unique thing that differentiates them, and for us it's the tree. It's the actual tree over here. That's the reason it's kind of it's not weird, but it's kind of different. It's unique. And for us to change it, all we really need to do is just move the tree out, add something else in. Maybe we can add a statue, a few things, and voila, it's all good to go. And we can repurpose this area for maybe a dance room or whatever the case is. What we can actually do is leave this open, cut this open as well. We can leave that open, and we can instead add some sort of half table if we have them in this area. No, we don't. So we'll just find a table if we can. Another one. That's not a cabinet. And hopefully we're able to find something that's a little bit more lengthier. These are all just vegetables. Don't really need these. We can find this. This is alright. Again, we want to change this to a drawing. Drawing. We want to shrink it. Because the whole idea is this is just... it's like an exit for the people who are working to use to get from point A to point B. It's also a little bit of a door. That's it. That's our kind of receptionist table. Now we can go and start making the actual inn itself. And if this can be a very simple thing, we can just grab a few tables, put it around. Obviously, we're looking for 4, so that's 1 table. That's 2, 3, 4. We can put carpets underneath them. We can change it up by making this a little bit more, hey, if you guys want to sit down here, you guys definitely can. And we'll change it up here. And on the sides, we want to make it a little bit darker wood. So we want to find some sort of wood that is like befitting of that. Let's find this one. This one looks, it's not really what we want because it looks like this is like soaked wood. Maybe this belongs on like the pier or the port. But it's all right. We'll just put this in the back. And maybe this is like the way how you can move underneath the kind of second floor balconies or like the railings above, which is fine. We can kind of like flavor it that way, and just by making the map, your brain kind of gets spinning, and you can start asking the questions like, oh well, why are these kind of wooden areas over here much more the color is much more dark? Well, it's because there's a shadow that currently reaches over towards them from above, right? Because you're walking underneath some sort of a railing or a second floor or whatever the case is. And maybe you're the type of player who wants to kind of decorate your tree, and that's fine. You can always go into more detail. We can add more tables. We can add a place where a bard can play. So let's try to do that. Let's add like a platform. And for me, how I usually add a platform is by finding large kind of wooden logs or just wood, pretty much. We can just look up the word wood and try to find an area where it kind of fits pretty well. Or we can just find like one of these bad boys. I like this particular thing because for me it's always whoever stands in the middle kind of looks it's the important thing. I usually try to put tables or things in the middle or even right here, so it's a bit more fine, you know, it looks better, looks nice. People can look at it like, okay, well, obviously that's where someone would stand, or it has representation. And even these right here, right, it looks like a dartboard, or it looks like a compass, or just a flower, and people can just sit there and just chat. And I think there's 2 of these, or these are the same thing. Either way, we can just grab one of this, we can grab one of that. We have 2 pieces. I think we can flip this vertically. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's one of these. There you go. And then once that's done, we can add some some more to it. If we want to, we can shrink it, but we're not gonna. We're gonna try to find some ways to raise this up a little bit. I raise you up. Let's go there. Let's go there. Add some sort of a table or a way to make this look a little bit more cleaner. And you know what? Because we're going for a tree thing over here, we're gonna try to, if we can, make it look like there's like almost like a tree, these kind of like barks below it. And easy way to do that is just front, and then we can add a staircase to it afterwards. And we go here. We can add a staircase. And let's shrink it a little bit. Side thing, so let's do that. We want to make it a drawing because it's getting too thick and it's not going to meet our criteria of what we want. So let's do that. And again, we want to make sure it's open for a lot of people to come through. So let's do that. And I'll say the backside is like a dead space where people can more or less just do what they wish, I guess. We can put like maybe a smaller staircase there. That way, maybe we can have a description of why people are coming from there, or not description, sorry. We can have a reason. Maybe that's the backstage. I guess that'd be the best way to say it. Shrink this. Holy shit, this is huge. Over here, let's make it a drawing. Bam. Change it up a little bit, and then let's increase that there. It's almost like a waiting room. If we wanted to, which we could do, is actually, no, you know what? Let's not be too dramatic with how we kind of do this. Let's just get it done, shall we? Okay. Backstage is done. Now we need to add some walls. And the easy ways we can do that is just find a wall. We can just type in the word wall and bing, bang, boom. We're all set to go. Obviously, we're not looking for any, steel walls or wood, stone walls or anything like that. But if we can't find what we're looking for, what we can always do is just simply just make a polygon. Go over here, grab the colors, make a polygon, make it large if we can. Let's actually go to the lights. We can do a wall. Boom. Oh, let's not make it stick to the wall, shall we? That way. It's cool. There's a little bit of privacy when it comes to the performers. They can now come in and go however they'd like. And obviously we want to close it off here as well. This is kind of a staircase that goes up. That way now it's okay. Cool. What else are we looking for? I think for the time being, that's actually all we need. And we can now start adding the characters and everything else we need. It's a small little tavern, but we can obviously keep on adding more and more to it, more in depth, more things. If it's going to be a tavern that your characters are going to be using as a hub or as a way to add more stuff to it, you don't need any more than about 10-15 minutes to make it. In reality, you don't even need that much, because you can just throw wood underneath, a large pile of it, put a few tables, and just go from there. There's really not much you need to make a tavern. And obviously these tables are way too fucking big. Most tables are going to be 4x4. Or sorry, not 4x4, but they're going to take up a 4 square spot. Same with this carpet. Carpet, it's a circular part carpet. We don't really like those, but we grabbed them anyways because, I don't know, I felt sad for the carpet, so I kind of just gave it a little bit more room. And We want to put these tables, maybe we want to put them in the corner, because it's a booth, right? We want to put one here. We want to flip it, so it's kind of in a corner. It's not really doing what I want to do, so let's make it a drawing. Let's put it there. Make some more rooms. It's big enough that if there was ever a fight, you can actually use some of this to actually include you in your fight, as well as that you're able to do stuff with it. Now, this is usually this is way too big for a tavern, but let's just say this was a large area where it's like it's a known place where people get together. It's a very famous tavern. These are I wouldn't say this is actually the measurements you would like to use, because it's 125 feet, right? No one, even like a general house isn't that big. I'd say if you really wanted a small tavern, it'd be like 60 by 80. Yeah, that's all you really need for a tavern. It's small enough, you can get around and you can go through it, and you can add a staircase here if you'd like to, and that goes upwards, and you have the second floor here. As well as that, if you wanted to, you could add railings here on the side. So if the players ever wanted to get on them and shoot down, they could be on here to represent the railings above. But yeah, that's a tavern. It's very simple, very, very quick. I didn't put too much depth into this or time into this. It's like 20-ish minutes. But I've always used these type of inns, these areas. More less lengthier, it depends on how things are happening. This is something I've used a bit more. It's very easy, actually. Fuck, I just keep forgetting these bastards are. Should put this guy on a token layer. Add this guy. Boom. I've made everything like daylights, so you literally have to have dark vision if you want to play this game. It's fucked. This guy should have vision. Alright, cool. You can walk through here. You can see there's a few walls. Alright, sounds good. Whatever the case is. And if you really wanted to, there's booths, tables. There's a kind of railing over here. That's where the rooms are. And you have your booths in the back, your receptionist table, a few tables here and there. And in the general area, there's a large kind of chunk of wood. More nicer, more pristine. That if the people wanted to, you guys could move and let's say you could dance or put up a song or something. You can almost show decay or just wear and tear by adding a little bit more weaker or discolored or duller colored wood to the front entrance, making it that much more believable. But this is just Roll20. This is what you have and what you got. There really isn't much you can do with Roll20. But you can do a hell a lot with it. And I made this as a world map that people can use. My players can use to kind of get the idea of where they're going. I've kind of added in these pictures to kind of get a better idea of where the areas are and the names of them. But primarily, it's up to me to kind of let the players know, well, it will take you so-and-so to get from point A to point B. The Chaslin Sands, Rockstep Coast, so on and so forth. Domain of Trock, all these shores and these areas. But as the game continues, you obviously want to better yourself, better the game, better the maps, and so on. And you want to start to put more depth into it, which I'm starting to do here. As you can see, going from the other one, it's very much 2D. It's very small and very short. This way, it's bigger. There's more kind of avenue to move. The cities don't actually take up majority of the map, and you can add stuff to it later on as you gotta continue and go on forward. And as you can see, it's not that big, but if people were to travel if they were to go by foot, I'd say it's up to you if you'd like it to be every kind of step you take by foot. It's going to be a square. So in reality, if you wanted to cross, I don't know, through the mountains, go over here, through the sods, into the desert, it would take you 83 days to get there by foot. But now we're going to start adding, well, what if you had, you know, a horse or some sort of means of travel? Well, then let's just say it's 2 squares now, right? And there's going to be some difficulties. So instead of taking 80 days, it's now 40. But realistically, it should be more like 30. Because horses are always moving at a decent speed, and you're not really. You're like kind of jogging. Obviously, as you do walk, you can get there much more quicker walking, 77 days, plus you're walking over the mountains. While a horse would have to take an actual road, so maybe you have to go a little bit longer to get where you're needing or wanting. 77 days versus 85. It's a lot of time, but just depends on how quickly you're going. Obviously, you're never gonna beat a horse, or by walking. But hey, you get here, maybe you can use a boat, get through here, use a ram or some sort of vestige, and you can save time that way. But for the time being, we'll just end this part, and then we'll start using